Hi, intrepid viewers. Let's just take a minute to still bask in the fabulousness that was the Democratic Convention. It was unprecedented. It was so amazing. I mean, people stayed awake during the speeches. You didn't want to miss one because every speaker really added to the story and the momentum and absolutely extraordinary. And out of that, now, at this late stage, 8 or 9 years into the Trump horror, Republicans are standing up to be counted. And so there's yet another group now of mainstream Republicans who are voting for Kamala. And the first TV channel to announce it was Fox. Interesting. So my first question today is Fox done with Trump? Could it be? I know there's been fights within the family about supporting this chimpanzee on roller skates, just disgusting human being, but could it be? Because they're actually cutting him off mid-sentence now when he's being interviewed. They're cutting off his rally clips. Will Fox ditch him or not? Let's have a look. Harbingers of the false message. Oh. Well, they're at least thinking about it, right? Now, their core business has been spreading the false message about, well, everything. And Rupert's done this in Australia. He's done it in the UK. He's done it in the US. That's what he does. I was just saying, conflict in the family. And I think this is also the executive board and the editorial staff and all of that at Fox going, no more, we can't do it anymore. Well, he's the golden goose. You know, look what he said and did yesterday. All this tension is going on there. Now, I think short term, they're going to stay with him and defend him. By short term, it might be from here to the election, right? A last stand. But if it was Biden, they were ready to go and do that thing, crush American democracy in the interest of taking out Biden. But it's a different ball game now. A lot of people at Fox have their own opinions about it. And in rides Kamala. They've got to radically rethink their position or be on the losing side. So I think what that means is they're weighing it up, and all that matters to them is money. They don't care about lying. We know that. So maybe they're afraid of losing their audience long term, or they're afraid of losing the short-term audience. But there's movement at Fox. I don't think it'll ever be a nice channel. They'll just change who they're abusing and demeaning. It's a filthy organisation. But I think they're starting to put him in the rearview mirror. That could be something. Okay. Now, there's a woman called Kelly Sorrell. She was a lawyer for some of the Oath Keepers. And as gossip has it, apparently she had an affair. For YouTube, this is entertainment purposes only because who cares? But it's significant in this context. Had an affair with Elmer Stewart Rhodes. Remember Stewart Rhodes? He's the guy who shot himself in the eye while demonstrating gun safety. Okay, so he's immortalized. He also got the biggest sentence, I think, or second biggest. He got 20 years for sedition, which is heavy duty, the real thing. So now his lawyer has been charged with corruptly trying to persuade others to destroy evidence and 3 other charges. But she's recently been found not to be competent. Well, let them all take the test. We know the Yeti wouldn't pass it. But I want to know, has she actually lost it, or is she faking so she can't be tried if she's not of sound mind? You know, it's one of those. So has she lost it, or is she faking? Kelly Sorrell, is she faking? I think if you spent enough time with the Yeti, you would go crazy yourself with the best will in the world, wouldn't you? I mean, how could you stay sane with that gaslighting? Kelly Sorrell's story, let's have a look. Look, these are not pretty cards in the sense of she doesn't feel she has a choice. So I think they offered her something and she didn't take it, the folded arms. They offered her a way through, didn't take it. She felt she had no choice with this 8 of Swords card, but this is always a cage of your own making. But that's how she felt about it. So she decided on this plan. I know, I'll just go ahead, and as a lawyer, she would have seen enough people with real mental health issues. But this is right next to the death card, not meaning mortal death, meaning the end of a career. So I think by doing this, she's going to be trampled underfoot because I don't think it will be a conclusive diagnosis or something like that. So Kelly Sorrell, this is what happens. You lie down with the dogs and the fleas will bite. Okay. So now, oh yeah. Arizona. Now, the powers that be in Arizona are trying to introduce this law where you have to have not just proof of identity, proof of citizenship, a passport or a birth certificate. Are you for real? Because they've persuaded themselves and each other. Millions of people are being bussed in. Remember, this is one of the Yeti's bleatings. They're bussing people over the border to vote. It never happened, shouldn't happen, can't happen. You know, you might find 6 in the whole nation. You know, it's ridiculous. So they've gone on overkill. So if you're already registered, it doesn't impact on you. But any new registrations, you have to have these things. I mean, I'd be hard pushed to find my birth certificate. Will this go ahead in Arizona? Will this go ahead in Arizona? Okay. Oh, back to the good old days. Oh, well, this is my card that represents going back to the 50s, you know, Leave It to Beaver and Little House on the Prairie. That's where they live. They too are having conflict over this because anyone would be able to tell you that many of the GOP voters would also struggle to come up with a passport and sometimes even their birth certificate. But this is them playing Big Daddy with the system, the Hierophant here. But then it becomes unclear. So I think they're going to introduce it and then it'll be so unpopular, they'll have to undo it. I think it won't work for them. Oh, okay. Look, it's a bit like Project 25 publishing its manifesto. They've actually published it. You know, it's this like, We are going to defund the education department completely. We are going to take out every public servant and replace them with one of us. I mean, they've got so blasé and relaxed under the circus that they've forgotten that anyone who pays attention of either political stripe or something in the middle actually doesn't think that's a winning formula. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled they've done it. Okay, now two more big ones. One's Jack Smith and one is Maga. Okay, so let's do Maga first. After the election, will Maga go out with a whimper or a bang? So, will they take to the streets? Will they try and organise another Jan 6 or something? Or are they going to melt away? Maga after the election. Maga after the election. Oh, the election was stolen. Yeah. Look, I won't spend much time on this. Why would you? This is them saying the election's been stolen. They get the Nine of Pentacles, which is the card of they want things as they were, like before the election, before the world turned, before Kamala got the big gig. They want that life back. After the election, they're going to be totally distraught and freaked out. The Empress magnifies everything. She's about fertility and expansion. That's going to spread through MAGA ranks. And this could be described as a bang, but I think it's more that individuals are going to explode and implode, and the movement's certainly going to be over after this. And people don't want to ally themselves with a losing side, So the momentum has completely swung in the opposite direction. And isn't it wonderful to see? I think it was Jamie Raskin who said, oh, the same people go to every Trump rally. It's like a concert for the Grateful Dead. Love that. Thank you, Jamie. There were so many. That's something you can do in the comments before I get to Jack Smith. In the comments, let me know your favourite moment of the DNC convention. There were so many amazing moments, and it was so moving when Tim Walsh's son stood up and spoke, and that's my dad. It was so amazing. All right, now in legal land, we should all get postgraduate law degrees. Really, we should after this ordeal. But so what's happening with Jack Smith? On Tuesday, he submits his paperwork to the 11th Circuit, and that basically they have the power to replace Aileen Cannon. Now, at this point, Jack Smith has not actually asked for her to be replaced. And in legal land, that's a very important distinction. So the case is, should he be kept on as special counsel? She has said, I don't like special counsels, special prosecutors do. She alone in the world has decided that. The court should just smack it down. They shouldn't even bother returning after lunch. Get it over in the morning, just do it. But let's see. So this is his case to stay on as special prosecutor versus her case that he should go and the case should be wrapped up. Now, as I understand it from Midas Touch, I think it was Michael Pocock who was explaining this. Let's see what happens. The 11th Circuit has the power to come back and say no. And because, Aileen Cannon, you've raised this on top of your other infringements, we will get rid of you. Or they can still knock her back and say, no, it will proceed, and he is the prosecutor. And then Jack Smith has to go back and say to them, excuse me, Your Honours, would you please have a look at her record and can you get her out of our faces? Right. So let's hope it's the first, but I want to look at the energy around this 11th Circuit decision. It's 11th Circuit decision on Aileen Cannon about special prosecutors that have been used for 200 years, not often, but they are used. There's a reason they're used. Let's see, what will the 11th Circuit do? What will the 11th Circuit do? Wow. Wow. I'm kind of liking this. I gave the cards a decent shuffle and the towers come back. So the Emperor, which is often my trump card, and this case is all about him at the end of the day. They're going to try and show temperance, old-fashioned word, temperance. It's about balance and moderation. In other words, they're going to treat it seriously. They're not going to do what I said and get it wrapped up by lunchtime. They're going to give it due diligence and then come out with the tower. I think this is for Aileen. And they're tired of her stinking fish behaviour, right? You know, this is the card misinformation. So dare to hope, dare to dream. Aileen Cannon. I don't know what happens then. She'll probably appeal it. Look, I'm sorry. This has to end. There has to be an end game here. So let's just have a quick look for fun at the Swifties, because we know that Trump's team did the bad AI and Swifties for Trump, as if there was such a creature in the world, as if Swifties for Trump, spare me. So the Swifties, now they've pushed back online. What's my question? Is that it? Will we hear no more about the Swifties? Or will the Swifties keep going? Are they now engaged? So what's happening with the Swifties? What's happening with the Swifties? Have they had their fun and moved on? Or are they going to hang around as an identity? The Swifties. Let's look here. Oh, lots of choices for them. Okay, now the clue is in the name. They love Taylor Swift, not Donald Trump. Now, with the moon card, things aren't always clear. So we may think they're finished and they're done and we're on to the next week's news or the next day's news or the next hour's news. But this is saying perhaps that take notice of the eclipse meaning a portal. And now they've had it open to them, working together in groups. It's a Swiftie. I think they're thinking what else to do, I think, as they progressively, as Gen X's, Zers, millennials, whatever the particular group is, or all of them, they're now starting to think we need to actually get organised and vote. All she's ever said is register. She hasn't said vote Democrat. But I think they're still a little bit confused over what their next step is. But they want, this card's interesting to me. This is traditionally the legacy card, the three generations. It's for America to reinvent itself and to heal from the Trump years and to reject Project 25 and to move on with vision and clarity and tolerance. It needs all the generations. And I think this, because she has such influence in a good way over them, this could bring them on board as voters for their voting lives. They may not otherwise have bothered voting. And we know if people don't vote young, they don't vote so often during their lives. I think this is about representing all the generations that are supporting Kamala. Oh, wow. Now, guys, I'm off interstate this week, but don't worry. I shall do a video from the other state, keep you up to date. I'm off to a wedding. And also to remind you, I'm not doing private readings again yet, but I'll let you know when. So let me know in the comments how, about what was your favorite moment. Okay, take care. See you next time.